How twisted is it? And you've got a judge that says, well, Ms. Cormier, you weren't affected by this. So in order for Ms. Cormier to be affected, I guess what this judge is actually saying is that you're going to have to be sexually assaulted, Ms. Cormier, before you have any standing in this case. And this is ludicrous. It is not being judgment-free if you tell a man, even if he identifies as a woman, he's got to use the male locker room. But now, this woman is also warning other women that they allow men into the woman's locker room. Now, isn't the fitness club in and of itself being judgmental of Miss Cormier? Aren't they judging her? I thought Planet Fitness was a judgment-free zone. Are they not judging her? And what is wrong with telling somebody, hey, last time I was here, there was a man in the locker room, so, be careful. But the club says it's a judgment-free zone, so they're going to allow him to use it because he thinks he's a woman. What's wrong with telling other women that? How is that violating a judgment-free zone? You've got a man in the locker room of a woman's locker room. I don't care if he thinks he's a woman or not. He's still a man. You got a man in the woman's locker room. Other women should not be notified and told about that? Because somehow if you tell them you're being judgmental, isn't the company being judgmental on that? Yeah, I think so too. But hey, you're only allowed to be judgmental if you're being politically correct about it. PC. Got to be PC. Otherwise, you might as well just look. You might as well stay home and work out. You don't unless you want to be a bodybuilder or something. You don't necessarily need a lot of weights. Just look at all those wonderful people that buy one of those, the P90X or the Insanity or whatever. What's his name? Sean something. Sean T. Right? Sean Ice? No, not Ice T. Ice T's a rapper. Sean T. Right? That's his name. The Insanity guy. I have one of his packages, by the way. Or buy the Billy Blanks, the Tybo stuff. I did Tybo a long time ago. It's kind of fun. Rod did Tybo. It's fun. I mean, yeah, it's dancey, that's what makes it fun. And I know that there's what is it? The Something Burn, Daily Burn is a network. I guess an online network that you can basically sign up. All that other stuff is probably, Planet Fitness is what? It's only like $10 a month or something. So I understand the allure because it's low price, the cut rate fitness stuff. But understand there's a whole different story behind gymnasiums and fitness clubs and the racket that business is. See, they want to bring you in the door because they know that I think the average industry numbers are something like people who join a gym at the beginning of the year in January, 60% of them stop using the gym within the first 90 days of the year. But they don't cancel their membership. So basically the club only has to pay for you using their facility for 2 or 3 months out of the year because they know the other 9 months of the year, you're not going to show up. But they're going to keep getting that recurring. But they don't care. That's why, a club can have 10,000 members. But whenever you go into the gym in the middle of August, it's half empty. Because, 60% of their members aren't showing up on a regular basis. That's how these cut rate clubs make their money. They get a lot of people to join for what appears to be a little bit of money, and knowing that the majority of them are not going to use a facility, at least not on a regular basis. So that's how these clubs make their money. Make no doubt of it. Just ask an insider. That's how they make their money. And then you go to other clubs where it's costing you, like $50, $60, $70 a month to join and to be a member. Well, most of those types of people are more serious about their fitness routine and do use the facilities, which is why the cost is higher. Yeah, they have additional amenities usually over the cut rate facilities, and so you have to pay for those additional amenities, but at the same time, it's being utilized by more members. The membership utilization rate is higher at those more pricey or exclusive clubs, if you will, than they are at the cut rate clubs. And that's how the cut rate clubs make their money, just so you know. And so now you have this cut rate club that is out there telling people that, well, we're not going to stand for your judgment. But people are out there judging. There's no such thing as a judgment-free zone. People are going to judge. Judge, that's what people do. We have judges that judge, right? So people also judge. Speaking of judging, this is stuff that I think that, I know there are a lot of single people out there listening to this program. So you got to be understand what it's like to be single in America today. And this is from fastcompany.com. I know a lot of people are thinking, well, it's against privacy rights, right? I got privacy. They can't do this to me. Well, I often say, well, you don't own the site that you're going to. So be aware, caveat emptor, be aware of what you're giving other companies. What part of you that you're giving to somebody else. You got to be aware and be careful of that, because here from fastcompany.com, Austin Carr has a piece that, and the title of this piece is, "I found out my secret internal Tinder rating, and now I wish I hadn't." Evidently in Tinder, I don't even know, has anybody out there used, I've never even gone to the site. I don't even know what Tinder looks like. I don't even know why they even named it Tinder, to tell you the truth. But it's supposed to be it's a dating site, but it's not a dating site. It's because eHarmony and eCupid or whatever, those are dating sites, right? But from what I understand, Tinder is really a booty call site or a hookup site. I don't use it. I don't know how it works. It's a location app too. Am I wrong about that? Where if you're logged on at the time, then other people who are also logged on can see where you are, and you can see where they are. I think that's how it works, right? Is that the right one? I don't remember. No, I don't use it. I don't know if that's not the one. Then there is one out there. That's Foursquare, right? Doesn't Foursquare do the same thing? Yeah. See, I don't know about Foursquare either. I've never used it. But anyway, Tinder evidently rates you. I'm sure many of you out there who use Tinder did not know this. The dating app uses data to give every user a desirability rating. In this article by Austin Carr, Carr, tells it like it is. Basically, how desirable are you on Tinder? Now, you have to realize that you might not be as desirable as you thought. Now, this is going to burst a lot of, especially males. This ranking number would probably burst a lot of the millennial males' egos. If they found out this. But a score is calculated by the company that ranks the most and least desirable people swiping on the service of Tinder. The scores are not available to the public, but Tinder recently granted access to the writer of this piece, and he says, "I've regretted learning it ever since." Now, referring to inside the company as an ELO score, ELO, a term the chess world uses to rank player level skills. So I guess that's ELO. Tinder's rating system helps it parse its user base in order to facilitate better matches. Now, using the system, Tinder could say surface more potential data based on score compatibility, but to most people, likely to most Tinder users, it's hard not to perceive the rating as a definitive scoring of our attractiveness. In other words, it's just basically a hot or not style algorithm. Okay. Now, the Tinder CEO, Sean Rad, confirmed the scoring system, that there is a scoring system. Now, Rad, who told the reporter of the story, his ELO score is above average, stresses that the rating is technically not a measure of attractiveness, but a measure of desirability, in part because it's not determined simply by your profile photo. It's not just how many people swipe right on you, Rad explains. It's very complicated. It took us 2.5 months just to build the algorithm because a lot of factors go, oh, okay, yeah. So Tinder is the one where you basically rate somebody as hot or not, right? Because you swipe, if you like them, you swipe them right. If you don't like them, you swipe them left into your trash or something like that. Is that how it works? I don't. So I don't know. Why do people? I know this is. It has to do with all this self-promotion, self-celebrity, wanting to be famous type of thing, but by so many of the millennials. But why would you put yourself up to such scrutiny, and then when you did not achieve what you thought you should have achieved, you're going to be hurt and disappointed? I guess it's because so many people think so highly of themselves. You ask people, they've done these studies. Rate somebody's looks from 1 to 10, and they'll be very harsh on somebody else's looks, and they'll rate them, an average of 7. But then when it comes to, well, what do you think you are? And they'll often rate themselves, think a lot higher of themselves. I'm not a 10, but I'm like an 8 or a 9. But other people are viewing them and rating them 6s and 7s. And when they find this out, they're like, well, I don't care what those people think. People get indignant. They're willing to rate somebody else harshly. But when it comes to themselves, they don't like being rated as harshly. I don't know where this comes from. I mean, this is this kind of self-aggrandizing type of mentality that has been instilled in the millennial generation and the younger generation. It is absolutely annoying, and it's very dangerous. I mean, because, people get mad at each other for not rating them as on something as high as they think they should be. You only going to rate my skills a 5, man? Man, I'm at least an 8 in skills. And you disrespecting me. No, that's just what people say. But then they turn around and do the exact same thing. Man, you ain't got no skills at all. You got 4. You might actually be good, but there's this whole internal thought process that says to these millennials that I'm the best. Nobody's better than me. And then when somebody who is better than them at that particular area of life is better than them, they're crushed. They're devastated. They don't want to believe it. But that's the truth of all this stuff. I don't know why you kids would subject yourself to this type of scrutiny. It's kind of frightening and maddening at the same time. I don't know where all this comes from. But this whole notion of people, I guess it just comes from the... Look, we got... Snooki's got a new... I thought I saw an advertisement for Snooki has a new TV program, new reality show. I don't even remember what it is. Maybe it was I think it was a dating show? Maybe I don't remember what it was. I think... Because I'm looking at... Snooki's lost a lot of weight. She's skinny. Because I almost didn't recognize her. I was paying more attention to looking at I recognize her from, I know that, who is that? And then Snooki and her husband, whatever his name is, got this new show. I'm like, oh, that's Snooki, huh? I didn't quite recognize her enough to place her at that particular point in time. But there's this whole notion of people wanting just to be famous, I guess. I don't get it. I don't get it at all.